Hey YouTube. So I didn't post a video last week, so I'm a little delayed. I apologize for that. But I do have enough questions this time. I have about 10 questions to do another Q&A session. So great. Let's get started on that, okay? So first question, do you like Harry Potter? And if so, what house are you? So I am a Harry Potter fan, like generally, not like a hardcore fan. But I do enjoy the Harry Potter movies for the most part, you know. I would be Ravenclaw for what house I'd be a part of. I went to like Harry Potter World when I was in Florida for school, at Universal Studios. That was awesome. I think I own like 4 or 5 Harry Potter ones. My favorite one's the Queenie. Um, but yeah, I'm a big fan of a lot of different fandoms and different things like that. And Harry Potter's one of those. Not a fan of the author. Um, she's a TERF, trans exclusionary radical feminist. Not a fan of her, so. But the books, Harry Potter, and movies and stuff, I enjoy those. They're fun. They're fun. Are you a member of any fandoms? If so, which? So if we're referring to like members of any like fandom communities, then probably the closest thing would be like World of Warcraft. I played that for many years. I read all the books, and I have a lot of friends, and I'm a member of an LGBT guild in World of Warcraft. I just barely started picking up my WoW account again. I hadn't played in a long time. I closed my account for a while, and I'm getting back to it. So, wow. I went to 2 Blizzard conventions, BlizzCons, and I've gone to a couple CalmaCons and some GamerX's, which is pretty fun. But I like a lot of the cosplay communities. They're a whole lot of fun. I've done cosplay myself a few times. Huge fan of comics and a huge fan of video games, generally speaking. So personally, I'm a fan of the Bat family. Um, I like the psychology of it. Doesn't mean I'm a DC fan. I like DC. I also like Marvel. I'm not exclusive to one. I like several different comic book companies, and I'm more interested in characters as opposed to where that character comes from. Such as I care about a character's background, where Batman comes from, and things like that. I don't care which publisher it comes from. If that makes sense, right? There is differences in both, but it's fine. I don't really care where they come from. I'm not just DC only or Marvel only. Or Harry Potter only. Okay. How long do you need to be on hormones before you can get surgeries? Okay, so into the trans questions now, I guess, at least for this one. So I mean, it depends. For the military, there's a specified time for a lot of stuff. So, in the Army, you're not authorized for any trans-related surgeries until after 1 year of being on hormones. Now, as for how some civilian doctors might feel, or what their expectations or their requirements might be, I can't speak on that. I can only speak on what I know of, and that's for military-wise. Here in the Army, you need to be on hormones for at least 1 year, with some other requirements before you're eligible for surgeries. Okay. Yeah. So in my case, 1 year, which I've surpassed that a while back, like a year and a half. So. Have you experienced any changes on hormones? If so, what are they? I mean, so I've done several videos on bodily changes, behavioral changes, mentality, mental health, all kinds of different changes with the body, and there is some. So just check those out on my channel. At the same time, I'll run through a few. So, of course, I'm developing breasts on hormones. My body fat is it's not really redistributing, because the body fat I have isn't moving somewhere else. But the idea of redistribution of fat is like, as I gain fat, I'm gaining it in different places than where I gained it before. I'm gaining more in the hips. I'm growing breasts. things like that. So my skin has changed. My body's just generally shaping different. My skin is getting smoother. My nipples have changed shape. You know, there's several things. It's easier if you just get into the videos where I've actually mapped out different stuff over time of physical changes that I've had. Because there's a lot of changes to take place. A whole lot. I have periods. I don't menstruate. No blood. Don't worry. No, it's not. Don't worry. No, you're not worried. I don't. But it's a hormone cycle, and I experience that. So I get emotional. I get pain. All kinds of stuff. So, were you nervous to come out? So I'm gonna take this as coming out as trans, because I come out a few times. I mean, yeah. I don't know anybody who's had to come out who wasn't nervous. So I was. I was nervous that I wouldn't be accepted. I was nervous I'd be attacked. I was nervous it would affect my career, my friendships, my family. Some it did, some it didn't. Um, it didn't turn out anywhere near as bad as I anticipated. Okay, so that's a plus, all right? But yeah, I mean, I was nervous for sure. Which no one should have to be nervous to just be themselves and be who they are. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I was nervous. I was very nervous. But the way that I tend to be with things, and this is for me personally, it's not necessarily I'm recommending. Everyone's different. Everyone handles things differently. Everything does things differently. So I can tell you all day how I did it. And if you try to do it the same way because you're a different person, it might not turn out the same way. You won't say things the way I do. I don't say things the way you do. Our behaviors are different. The way we think is different. Everyone's is. But for me, if I know there's something that has to be done, then I try to think about it as logically as possible, such as like when to do it, who to talk to first, talking to people ahead of time, not necessarily about me, but kind of putting feelers out there for them and how they feel about that certain subject. I did that quite a bit. And then when I've done all that, I guess personal research on things, then I'm kind of the rip the band-aid off kind of a person. Because if there's going to be fallout from something, I just want to know and I want to get it over with. Just get it done. Knock it out, right? So when I was going to tell someone, I'd be like, all right, I'm telling so-and-so. And somebody like, I'm going to tell them 3 days. I'm going to tell them 4 days. Normally it's like, all right, I'm going to tell someone. Hey, that tends to be how I do things. Because it's not like I expect everyone to be okay with it. I don't. In fact, quite the opposite. I expected to lose everyone. And so when I called someone, it wasn't like, I'm just going to get this knocked out because it's not going to be a big deal. I would call someone expecting like, they're going to tell me to essentially go down, right? Many didn't, but that wasn't the point. That's what I expected, and that's what I planned for. So it's kind of like, all right, let me get the pain out. Let me get the pain started so I can get out of the way. Let me get the rejection started so I can just start getting over shit. All right. Power language. But that's the way I work. But nervous? I'm always nervous. I'm nervous before I make these videos. I'm nervous during these videos. I'm nervous right now. I'm a train wreck. But yeah. Yes. Answer to your question was yes. I was nervous. What was the surgery you got? Okay. So now into current times, right? Recently, on November 20th, another video in my channel, I got surgery. Not full sexual reassignment surgery, or gender confirmation surgery, gender reassignment surgery, however you want to say it. I didn't get full surgery. I got what's called an orchiectomy. Full surgery name for me was a simple bilateral orchiectomy. Orchiectomy is removal of the testicles. Okay? That was the surgery I got. So what that does for me is I no longer produce testosterone. I no longer produce gonadal testosterone, right? So I don't need to take testosterone blockers anymore, which is phenomenal. Love it. Okay. That was a surgery. All right. Let's see here. What are all the surgeries trans people get? Okay, so this is kind of a mixed bag thing. Okay, several things. One, I am not a doctor or a surgeon or a medical professional. Okay, so I don't have all of the surgeries. So I'm gonna name some that are common, but there isn't like, you don't come out as trans and someone goes, "Okay, here's your list of surgery you have to get." Okay, every trans person is different. And some want surgeries and some don't. And what surgeries some people want, they change. Not everyone wants surgeries, and that's okay too. So, to name a few of them, one, you have like the orchiectomy that I have, and of course you have the reassignment surgeries, which for assigned male at birth, then you would get, which I'm hoping I'm going to get later on, eventually, is a vaginoplasty, right? So it's essentially creating my neo-vagina. And there's several surgeries that go into that surgery. That's not just like one thing, right? There's several parts of it. One of those parts would have been an orchiectomy, right? But overall, vaginoplasty, right? For assigned female birth, okay? Trans men, when it comes to reassignment surgery, then you have phalloplasty. And again, there is more surgeries involved with that to create the neopenis, or that's what's called. I know it's neovagina, but to create a trans guy's penis, basically, if he wants one. Other common surgeries people get are, and now I'm talking surgeries, not like hair removal, electrolysis stuff, like surgeries. Since that was a specific question. What procedures? Ask that question. But then you have like facial surgeries, such as often known as FFS, facial feminization surgery. Okay, and that's where you do basically cosmetic surgeries that make features of your face a little more feminine, or they actually have facial masculinization surgeries to make face more male. Like those are a thing. More common is the feminization. Because testosterone does wonders for trans men typically. As far as I know. If I'm wrong, please tell me. As far as I know. But with that, again, there's tons of surgeries that go along that, which could include like jaws, could include rhinoplasty, eyebrow stuff, or brow bone stuff, cheeks. Just there's all kinds of stuff. I don't know all the names of those, but essentially it'd be the facial feminization, right? Or male masculinization, or facial masculinization. Yeah. Other surgeries, you have vocal feminization surgeries, which they will go in, whether it be through the throat or through a hole they could put in your neck or something. And essentially kind of sewing up the area there. There's several things involved. I'm not using the right terminology, I know. Right? But essentially it's going to give you a higher voice. Okay? And then of course there's vocal training that I did to raise my voice. But when it comes to vocal feminization surgery, then the training part isn't necessary. It's a physical thing that's done, you know. So as someone grows with testosterone in their system, then it elongates and opens that gap in the vocal cords, which is what deepens the voice, right? And so vocal feminization just kind of reverses that. Okay, other surgeries. Let's see. There's a bunch I know. I don't know all of them. Oh, of course, top surgery for trans men was just the breast reduction. Take the breasts down, take all that tissue out, so they can actually get to grow their pecs. Okay, and then of course, some trans women like to get breast augmentation surgery, so getting breast implants, right? I haven't decided on that one yet. I'm going to wait until my breast growth has finished, which goes from 2 to 5 years, to decide where I'm going to do that. And also, I'll wait about several years to see where I'm at face-wise. I want a new nose, though. My nose is huge. I wouldn't mind facial feminization surgery. I wouldn't mind it. I want vocal feminization surgery. I would love vocal feminization surgery. And of course, most importantly, I want my JJ. I want that. I hate having a penis. Drink the wine. Okay. So again, I don't know what they all are. Woo, excuse me. But those are several common ones, right? When did you know you were trans? So, I think I've done a video on this too. That question's a little harder to answer. I didn't self-identify as trans until about two and a half years ago. 2.5 years ago, I think. I was here in Korea, maybe a little bit more. That's when I was like, I finally was able to identify myself and accept myself for who I was. Now, prior to that, then growing up, like when I saw other females, I felt a kinship with them. I felt like, why am I not like them? If that makes sense. Like I should be. I should be, but I'm not. I'm like these other people that I don't feel like I'm a part of. And then, of course, in the community I grew up in, things like this were not acceptable. And I fought against it for years and years and years. And I tried so hard to be a part of and identify with boys and work clearly. Looking back, after I was finally able to identify myself, I look back back in time, back in the memories, and I find myself many times going, "Oh, holy shit, yeah, that right there, that I did, that I said, that feeling I felt, that makes perfect sense now," right? So I knew it all my life, but the society around me and my socialization process taught and trained me to reject it completely. When I know, I consider myself, I've always known. Was I able to accept it and identify it? About 2.5 years ago. So, did you look at girls differently while growing up? So, I don't know differently than what, because I haven't changed the way I looked at girls. As I said, I look at girls like a kinship, and so there was. I guess the way to say this is like when I saw females growing up, and I knew I felt this way about females, towards females, or felt a kinship towards them, a sisterhood. It scared me. It scared me a lot because I was taught that these things weren't normal. That stupid word. That I shouldn't feel like that. But I can't help how I felt. And so it scared me, right? Now it doesn't, so I guess that is a difference, a change. don't know if that's an answer. All right, and finally, were you scared to tell people you were trans? Yes. Yes. Every time I go somewhere new, every time I'm around somebody new, every time I go to a new store, a new restaurant, every time I go to a new military unit, a new town, make some new friends, whatever the case may be, I am always nervous. Because what's their new reaction going to be? Are they going to be, because it's not just like, well, they like you or they don't. It's not that simple when it comes to LGBT individuals generally, especially trans individuals. Sometimes that how they feel about me isn't just like they like me or they don't. It's they like me or they don't care or they hate me and ridicule me or they want to physically attack me or they think that I'm worth being murdered. They think it's okay to bring violence upon me. Like that's a real risk every time I meet someone new. That's a real risk because that literally happens all the time. Trans people get murdered, specifically trans women of color, most often, most commonly, most of the time. But trans people and LGBT people get attacked all the time, all the time. So yeah, I'm still always scared to tell people. I don't know in my lifetime if we'll ever get to the point where I don't feel that. I hope so. I truly do. Just because of my past, even if society gets there, I don't know if I mentally will be able to. If I'll ever mentally stop being nervous about it. Stop being scared to tell someone. Stop being scared to go alone to a bar or other places because I might not walk away from it. So, scared to tell people I'm trans? Yeah. This YouTube stuff, Facebook, Instagram, I'm going to start streaming soon. All these things, to tell you the truth, terrify me. Doing this video and posting it terrifies me. Because I'm opening myself up to abuse. More abuse. It's going to keep happening. I've been lucky so far, which is great. But it's going to keep happening. It's statistically speaking, it's going to get worse too. Like, I do this because I feel it's necessary. I do this because I feel visibility is necessary. Does that mean I think all trans people should, or trans or LGBT people should come out and be visible? No. I think it's a personal choice. I think I am in a position where I feel it's necessary for me personally to be out, to be a face, to be somewhere, someone people can reach out to and ask for help or advice or just to know that they're not alone. Just to see a video and be like, oh, thank God I'm not the only one. Because I thought I was too. I thought I was broken for years. There's something freaking wrong with me. I didn't go, oh, I'm trans and I just shouldn't tell people. That's not what I did growing up. That's not what I did. I identify with these women. Oh, crap. I'm broken. My brain's messed up. According to these people and this religion, I shouldn't deserve to live. These are things that I was raised with, right? It was so hard to get past the way I was raised, how I was raised, and the indoctrination, all these things. To be able to just accept myself. I was able to accept others, sure, but to be able to look myself in the eye and be like, it's okay, you can be too. You can be yourself. So, yeah. I'm scared to tell people now. I get scared and nervous to post new pictures of myself on Facebook. I just try to do it all the time. I try to be visible because there's the visibility for our community isn't high. Um, I know, and I'm just rambling, but I'm passionate about this because, especially the whole, am I scared to tell people? I'm not convinced I'll ever not be. I'm not convinced I'll ever not be scared. And with that, I hope everyone has an amazing night. I will try to be more consistent with the videos. I love you all. If you have any more questions, please post them in the comments or on my Facebook or on my Instagram. And I will get to those in the next Q&A session. Okay, I like doing these, and I'll do them as often as I get questions. Right, enough questions for these. So like, subscribe, share the videos, send them to your friends. If you have a friend that's trying to find out who they are, you think this might help, send it. Send it to them. And with that, I will leave you. Have a good night.